Hello, BookTube. This is a shelf tour, continuing shelf tour of the fourth big wall bookcase, the fourth shelf in the fifth section. Again, we're continuing on with the theme of Greek history and literature, classical history and literature, that sort of thing. So start here with this wonderful older volume, The Stories of the Greeks by Rex Warner. Farrar, Straus and Giroux, New York. And this volume, let's see, sort of a complicated print history. This is from '67. So the volumes in this book were originally copyrighted from 51, 53, and 55. It's Men and the Gods, Greeks and Trojans, and the Vengeance of the Gods. Hopefully you can see it right there. And it's a retelling of these myths with some beautiful black and white illustrations all the way through. Let's see. So a sampling from the Stories of the Greeks. Pyramus and Thisbe, Bacchus and Philemon, Daedalus and Icarus, Perseus, Voyage of the Argonauts. Let me jump around here. Atalanta's Race, Oedipus, The Seven Against Thebes, Iphigenia, Death of Hector, The Embassy to Achilles, The House of Atreus. So here's a list of some of the stories. Rex Warner, I actually have a translation, I think, coming up of Aeschylus by him, so we'll see if I'm right about that. Then these two volumes go together here. Richard Lattimore's translation. I'll start here with the Iliad of Homer. Translated with an introduction by Richard Lattimore. University of Chicago Press, Chicago and London. And this is from 1951. Okay, so we move right on to his Odyssey of Homer. Similar cover. Harper and Row Publishers, New York, and this is from 1965, reprinted 1977. Not going to get all into which translations which, everybody has their own opinions. I think if I was to say anything about translations, it would be find one that works for you. I have several, as you'll see. And there's several more that I've read that I enjoyed. You could do more than one video just on which translation you should get or whatever. Here's another Iliad. This one's from the Everyman's Library. Translated by Robert Fitzgerald, Alfred A. Knopf. And this originally came out... see, 74, and this is Introduction Bibliography, copyright 92, so it's a little later. There you go there. So again, another translation. And then yet another translation. This is Robert Fagles with an introduction by and notes by Bernard Knox, who I'm a big fan of Mr. Knox. This one here is Penguin. And this is 1996. Personally, probably the translation that fits my personality and reading style is probably the Fagles the best. But again, that's all this opinion. Here's the complete works of Homer, the Iliad and the Odyssey, complete and unabridged in one volume. The Langleaf, Butcher, and Myers prose translation. if you prefer a prose translation. Modern Library Giant. Introduction by Gilbert Hyatt, the name that keeps coming up, Professor of Greek and Latin at Columbia. Just let you look at the title page there. And this one is 1950. So that's both Iliad and Odyssey in one volume. Then we come to this, the Sophocles one, which includes Oedipus King, Oedipus at Colonus, and Antigone, translated by David Green, the one we saw earlier who had done the Herodotus. So here's that. And that was University of Chicago Press, Chicago, London. This is a second edition. It's out of the Complete Greek Tragedy set, edited by David Green and Richard Lattimore. And this one's 1991. And moving right along. Now we saw Greek Fire, a book. I just picked this up. This is also by Oliver Taplin, who done that. This is Sophocles, 4 Tragedies. And a new verse translation by Oliver Taplin, which includes Oedipus the King, Ajax, Philoctetes, and Oedipus at Colonus. Oxford University Press. You couldn't make print smaller than this. 2000, I think it's 15. Could be 13, but I think it's 15. So you can see I just started on this. I'm into the a discussion of the priorities of the translation. So I'm enjoying it so far and learning what his reasoning for the translation is. Then we have Sophocles, the Oedipus cycle, which is Oedipus at Colonus, Antigone, and Oedipus Rex. But this is English version by Dudley Fitz and Robert Fitzgerald. It's a Harvest book, Harcourt Brace and Company. Let's see. And this would be 1977. And then finally, the Complete Greek Tragedies, David Green and Richard Lattimore, the series we saw with the Sophocles. But this is Euripides one. It says Alcestis, translated by Richard Lattimore, The Medea by Rex Warner, Heraclididae, translated by Ralph Gladstone, and Hippolytus, translated by David Green. And here's a motorcycle going by here. And University of Chicago Press, Chicago and London. And the date on this, let's give the old translation dates. Not so hard to tell. Originally copyrighted 55. This is not from 55. So, Euripides and Sophocles, both in the same series, Chicago. So, that is the end of the 5th section, 4th shelf, 4th big wall bookcase. Thank you, BookTube.